just the next few moments that we have together, I want to upload into your hard drive some key ideas around how do we begin to look at what we do brilliantly. Everything that I'm about to say is going to be summed up in this statement, and here's the statement. In the future, you will be paid for the experience you create and the difference you make. Newsflash, the future is now. So then the question becomes, what must I do to create an experience and drive more value? And it really starts with, how do we begin to shift brilliance? When I work in an environment that celebrates me rather than tolerates me, mental Post-it note number 2, that environment invites me to be a vitamin, not just an aspirin. Mental Post-it note number 3, when I understand how to be a vitamin, not just an aspirin, then ultimately the work that I do as a leader in Hilton is not about making an impression, but it is about leaving an imprint. I am here today because 30 years ago, Greg Wright, who was my GM at the time, saw me, 19 years of age, lost as a goose in a blizzard. He saw something in me, and he put me on the front desk, and he made me believe that I had value. And his belief in me enabled me to believe that I had something to bring to that place of business every single day. Homework assignment number 1, if you're taking notes on your smartphone, please, ma'am, please, sir, please capture this. I'd like for you to think of everyone that you work with right now. And I want you to think about what's right about them. And the second thing I want you to think about, by the time you leave San Francisco and you return home, I want you to think about what's that one thing that you can identify and celebrate and begin to leverage every single day, not because you have to, but because you want to. 70% of human decision-making is emotional, 30% rational. So the real business that we are in as we look forward to being the world's foremost hospitable company is we are, I made this word up, we are emotionologists. And as emotionologists, we understand how do we begin to pay attention to what's happened emotionally in the head, the heart, and the hands. And when we begin to see differently, see ourselves through the lens of emotionologists, then we understand that Hilton may be the name, but that's just the name. That's just the building. A brand is not a product or service. A brand is an emotion, a connection, a perception, a moment, and a memory. The reason it took Disney 2 years to hire me, 10 interviews, and a 10-page psychological analysis from Gallup is they understood this. Hire for attitude, train for success. Training does not fix what HR doesn't catch. And that day, ladies and gentlemen, and what I'm about to say, I mean this figuratively, not literally, I quit my job at Disney and I went to work at Disney. Because Disney never hired me to do a job, they hired me to create a moment. The reason sometimes there's a lot of attrition in organizations is because they hire the most available warm body. And I believe organizations that will thrive in the days ahead will not just hire anybody, they will hire the body. And they will not hire them to do a job, they will deploy them to go to work. Because a job stands for just overboard. Job, employment. Work, deployment. So when I really understand work, I said, wait a minute, I'm in the business of moments. Years ago when I worked at the Mouse House, HR needed to do an intervention because I went through 360-degree feedback where my peer leaders and direct reports rated me on my performance. If 5.0 is the highest, 1.0 is the lowest, the threshold for leaders at Disney at that time had to be a 4.0 or higher. I came in at 3.5, 3.0 in many of the categories, many of the questions. Such questions as, do you trust your leader? Does your leader give you feedback? Does your leader spend time with you? Does your leader walk a mile in your shoes? Does your leader know you? And so Larry, who was my leader, my boss at the time, called me in the office. He said, walk me through a typical day when you come in the office. I'm like, well, I come in the office, read my email, return my calls, and then I'm off to a meeting. He says, do you ever stop to take time to engage the cast members at Disney? Employees are called cast members, to engage them in dialogue? I said, dude, I'm from Buffalo, New York. I don't care what they did this weekend. I don't care what the name of the dog, the cat, the niece, the nephew, the son, the daughter. You got the email, you got the memo. Go forth and create magic. And he just kind of looked at me and said, that would be your problem right there. So for the next year, almost 18 months, I had to go to Disney University to really understand what it meant to be a leader who was just not smart technically, a leader who moved beyond RevPAR and cost per occupied room, a leader who began to understand that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. When people started to leave me as a leader and we went through the exit interview, they said, oh, Simon, it's just time for me to move on. That was the official answer so that we could write it down and give it to HR. The unofficial answer, that guy is a jerk. It is all about him. He doesn't care about us. And when I heard this feedback, it was like, doof. I said, what am I gonna do? So I realized that I had to wake up every single morning and I had to begin to answer 4 questions. And these 4 questions I want to give you because they have been the foundation that has transformed my life and transformed what I do every single day.